and thank you for joining our meeting today. Today to discuss about degree by research and researcher in the Technical University of Berlin, especially in aerospace area. Ladies and gentlemen, to begin with, we would like to invite Mr. Arthur Lolono as Acting Director of Talent Management Deputy of to briefly report in this meeting. Mr. Arthur, time is yours.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ms. Putri.
Your connection
Officer.
is unstable.
Thank you very much for having us today. Act as the bridging for matchmaking.
I'm losing the voice.
Yes,
Okay.
Arthur's connection is lost.
Between space engineering information regarding what kind of research area in TU Berlin, and also potential professor later on who will be a potential candidate for their supervisor. Pak Edi and Pak Heru here is the first potential host university after that this pilot project for this master science for space engineering will act as a pilot project later on for the potential for the doctoral program also from other schools in TU Berlin. I hope that this hopefully that there is a list of shortlist engineering enrolled as the student under the degree by research in TU Berlin, which then as the agreement the first semester will be conducted in Indonesia. So I was hoping this can act as a pilot project. I'm sorry for this loss of connection. I'm hoping this pilot project will act as a good example for us to collaborate more later on for this doctoral project. Thank you very much. I hope a very fruitful discussion. I'll give back the floor to Ibu Putri. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Mr. Arthur, for the report. And the second agenda is welcoming and directioning from the Deputy of Human Resources and Science and Technology, Mr. Edi Giri. Time is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mbak Putri.
You're welcome.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good afternoon to my colleagues in Indonesia and good morning in Germany. The honorable speakers from TU Berlin, Ms. Homakova and Ms. Afsar, and head of the Research Organization for Aeronautics and Space, BRIN, head of the Research Organization and Research Center at BRIN, Director of Talent Management Directorate of BRIN, ladies and gentlemen. We are very grateful today because we are able to host the Open Campus webinar in the aerospace engineering from Technische Universität Berlin, TU Berlin, for a research-based master program degree. This is the first open campus activity in 2022 in order to conduct a matchmaking research activity that will be a part of the degree by research program between BRIN and the host university, TU Berlin. Ladies and gentlemen, increasing the quantity and quality of science and technology human resources in the Indonesia government priority in realizing the quality and competitiveness of human resources in Indonesia, which is in line with the 2020-2024 national agenda. The need for quality human resources is needed to strengthen the research and innovation ecosystem that can increase the adoption, mastery, and culture of research and innovation in Indonesia. BRIN has established the degree by research program scheme to accelerate the number and to increase the capabilities and qualification of national science and technology human resources, not only for research institutions in Indonesia, but also for university and even industry. Different from other educational programs offered, this degree by research program is an educational program based on the research collaboration between BRIN and the host university. BRIN will provide prospective students and co-supervisor, as well as related research topics and funding. Meanwhile, the host university will offer research-based formal higher education programs and academic supervisors or professors. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are delighted because our university partner, Technische Universität Berlin, TU Berlin, will do matchmaking with BRIN to provide more detailed information about study program and research at TU Berlin, space engineering, to be used as the basis of research on master program in space engineering. We are also very pleased, aeronautics and space are one of the priority human resources research and development focuses in Indonesia. Of course, in the near future, there will be conducted other open campus webinars from other universities and their research focus areas. I hope that this webinar can be utilized as widely and as possible, especially for BRIN's young talents who will become prospective students at TU Berlin, as well as for BRIN's researchers to collaborate and become co-supervisors. Thank you very much to our colleagues from TU Berlin, and I do believe this is an initiation of our big step forward in order to strengthen research and also human resources development, especially in the field of aeronautics and space in Indonesia. Thank you very much. Very good afternoon.
You're welcome. Thank you, Mr. Edi, for the welcome and directions. And the next agenda is welcome from the head of Aeronautical and Space Research Organization, Mr. Robertus Heru Triharjono. Time is yours.
Thank you very much, Mbak Putri. Dr. Edi Giri, the Deputy Chairman of BRIN for Science and Technology Human Resources, Dr. Arthur Lelono, Director for Talent Management of BRIN, Ms. Olga Homakova, and Mr. Cem Asfar for Master Space Engineering of TU Berlin. Good afternoon and guten Morgen in Berlin. And I went to Berlin years ago to build the Indonesian first microsatellite in TU Berlin. So there is no doubt that I would say that the education level at TU Berlin is very high and at the competence, and there have been given us so far the necessary trainings and education for developing microsatellite technology until we can do it ourselves here in Indonesia. So I'm really hoping that this program could proceed, that at the Research Organization of Aeronautics and Space, we have a lot of young engineers, researchers, and they still have their bachelor degree or undergraduate education. So this is the kind of education that they need for their future endeavor in space research. So I really hope that we can proceed with this open education for Master Engineering Master in Space Engineering, not only for the researchers at Research Organization for Aeronautics and Space, but also for the entire academics of BRIN that are interested in developing space technology and space application in Indonesia. So I'm really thank you for your willingness to cooperate with BRIN, TU Berlin willingness to cooperate with us again. And we have been friends for many years, and we hope that we could do this to the next level, to the education platform. We used to work on the training levels and then some education for a PhD, but now hoping that we can go for the master degree as well and continue having a PhD candidate from Indonesia. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Heru. Let us know the time for our main agenda, presentation from TU Berlin and discussion session. And this session will be guided by my colleague, Mr. Jeremy, as a moderator. Mr. Jeremy, time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Martira. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone, especially for the participants in Indonesia, and good morning for our partner from Master of Space Engineering in TU Berlin. So let me introduce myself. I'm Jeremy, hi, Jeremy. I'll be your moderator for today's webinar session. And I'm very pleased to welcome all of you in this webinar. So today's webinar is about Open Campus for Master of Space Engineering TU Berlin for degree buyers program of BRIN. So I would like to inform you that for today's webinar, there will be presentation session from MSc TU Berlin. And after the presentation, we will open the discussion session. So we are pleased to inform you that our speakers for today's webinar are Mr. Jem Afsar as the Scientific Coordinator and Lecturer of Master of Space Engineering TU Berlin, and Ms. Olga Homakova as the Program Manager of Master of Space Engineering TU Berlin. So without any further ado, allow me to welcome the speakers, Ms. Olga Homakova, to deliver the presentation. So Olga, the time is yours. Thank you.
Good afternoon, again. Good afternoon, and thank you for having us, and thank you for your interest in the cooperation with TU Berlin. We've had already experience with students from Indonesia and also research projects with Indonesia, and we are looking forward with enlarging our cooperation with BRIN. I will start sharing my screen. Just a second. Yeah. We are pleased to introduce our master's program today to you. This is an international full-time master's program at TU Berlin. After the 2 years of studies, students receive a degree, a state-approved degree, Master of Science. This is a full-time master's program which with a duration of 2 years, the regular period of time, and so comprises altogether 120 credit points. This is European system of in education. the language of teaching is English, so students don't have to speak German to study in our program. We do offer German courses to help students to maybe to pursue their career in Germany after they've graduated, but it's not a requirement to study. If you talk about the next intake, so this last intake started, for example, in April 2022, and they will graduate in March 2024. We started in April 2014. This was our first intake. So we've got a couple of years experience already. And so I also want to mention that this international program is based on years of experience at TU Berlin in teaching. So you know that there is also a study program in space engineering in German offered at TU Berlin, and this study program has been at TU Berlin for over 30 years. Talking about, so maybe I will talk about general organization of the program, and then Mr. Afshar will talk more about the research and scientific part of the program. The total tuition fee of the program is 21,990 euros for the full period of studies, for 2 years of studies. So this is tuition fee, plus students have to pay organization fee, which is around 300 euros per semester. But this includes also public transport ticket for 6 months in Berlin. And as we are talking about hybrid studies for your students, if they are not in Germany, they for this period they just pay a very small amount of organization fee. Living costs. So in order to be able to live in Germany, students require to have around 850 euros per month on average. Now back to the program. So it's the aim of the program is to educate system engineers, and the program is very much project-oriented and focuses on space system design, space technology, space management and operations, and intercultural communication. So at the end of the studies, students conduct a master's thesis, so either at the university or at the industry. So in the case with BRIN and LAPAN, so I understand that your students would conduct their research at one of the LAPAN projects. This is a small overview of the countries where our students come from. So you can see that we've got students from all over the world. And as I mentioned, we also already had 2 students from LAPAN, from Indonesia. But we've got students from all over the admission requirements. We require previous degree, so at least on a bachelor's level. Then we also require English proficiency. These are the certificates which we prefer, but it's not required to have, for example, TOEFL. It would be enough if your students studied in English or have other certificates in English. One important requirement is at least 1 year work experience completed after graduation. So we don't accept students directly after they've graduated. So they need to have at least 1 year work experience. This is an overview of application documents. You will also find all this information on our website. I will share the website later with you. But this is an overview. So what do you require to apply? It's a curriculum, curriculum vitae, motivation letter, transcripts of and certificates. Those have to be translated in English. If they are not in English, 2 letters of recommendations and proof of language proficiency. So how to apply? Students apply through our website. There is an form on the website, and they just complete this form and attach documents. Now to the organization of the study, the structure of the program. As I mentioned before, the program comprises 120 credit points in total. 90 credit points have to be taken in modules, and 30 credit points in master thesis. This is an overview of the subjects we offer. So all of the modules are spread in 4 groups. Space technology, fundamental space technology, satellite technology, space electronics, radiation workshop, spacecraft dynamics and controls, spacecraft propulsion systems, space sensors and instruments. In the group space system design, we offer space system design project, space technology project, and planetary exploration and space robotics. In the group space operations, we offer space mission planning and operations, human space flight and space psychology, space flight mechanics, satellite geodesy, satellite communication. Those are the technical subjects. We also have interdisciplinary group, model group in our curriculum, because we think it's important for the engineers and leaders working in the industry to have also management skills. That's why we offer project management, innovation, entrepreneurship and innovation management, soft skills, and we also offer German for engineers, for our graduates to be able to work in Germany, maybe. Also it makes the life in Germany easy if you speak a little bit of German. We've got, if you're interested to look deeper into the subjects, I would recommend you, I will share the link with you with, just a second, I'll show you how it's. So on our website, there is a page with more detailed information on each course. So you feel free to browse through the website and have a look into the models. Okay, how it's organized? We've got compulsory modules, we've got compulsory elective modules, and also free electives. That means so students have to take all of the compulsory modules. Those comprises 36 credit points, plus they've got a choice in the compulsory elective group, where they've got to take minimum 36 credit points. Apart from these, students can take courses from other universities. So any courses in any disciplines from any university in Germany, which makes which gives them a little bit of freedom to enlarge their curriculum. So yes, the regular period of study is 4 years. So in the first 3 semesters, students take courses, and then in the 4th semester, they conduct their master's projects, master's thesis. At this point, I want to mention that so we don't push students to finish their study during the regular period of time. So if they require 1 semester more, we accept it, and or if they want to conduct internship in the 2nd semester and then continue their studies later, we also let them do it, and so it's quite flexible in the structure of the program. So this is all about the general organization of the study, and I will. So Mr. Afshar will continue with the research and education at TU Berlin. Maybe,
okay.
so I don't, I'm sorry, Jem, maybe if you have questions regarding the structure and the organization of the study so far, maybe you can ask the questions now, and then we will go deeper into research, and then Mr. Afshar can answer to your questions. If not, Mr. Afshar will.
I'm sorry, Olga,
Yeah?
maybe we can continue to Mr. Afshar presentation,
okay, yes.
And we open the discussion session after Mr. Afshar presentation. Okay, so to Mr. Afshar, the time is yours.
Okay, wonderful. I'll just use annotation. So yeah, good to see everyone, and yeah, I'll just give a brief overview of what research looks like at TU Berlin. And our philosophy at the Chair of Space Technology is that we combine research and education and offer hands-on education mainly. So, those are 2 important pillars of every university. So at TU Berlin, maybe you've heard that we are very active when it comes to space technologies. So we have facilities like our Mission Operations Center. We have a ground station on top of the rooftop, and then at the department, and we have several satellite projects and laboratories. So we use that, of course, for education, and try to combine it with research. So the practical experience that we can offer is in the scope of different types of projects that we offer in the curriculum. For example, currently our students are developing a new rover system to participate in the European Space Rover Challenge. And there are several rover developments in the lab. So the goal is to build autonomous systems that can potentially assist in planetary exploration in the future. So those types of systems are developed by students. And as you can see, this rover, for example, was completely developed by students. So the mechanical systems, the electronics, but also the software. So we combine space engineering combines all the different engineering disciplines, like mechanical, electrical, software, and this is also reflected in our curriculum. So many of our students have a background in mechanical engineering, but we also have aerospace engineers with their bachelor's degrees, electrical engineers, but also some software engineers. And we have this interdisciplinary group that comes together and then is able to build those systems, and on the path while building those systems with their different strengths that the students have. They also learn the systems engineering approach, because we act according to in accordance to the European the ECSS standards, the European standards for developing space systems. So once our students graduate, they're prepared for joining the European space industry, but also the global space industry, because the European standards of developing spacecraft is very much applicable in many other regions of the world too. So satellites are pretty much the big thing here at TU Berlin, but it's not the big thing. Our satellites are quite small. So we have small satellites at TU Berlin. They can range from just a few grams, like 200 grams for one small satellite, to about 50, 60 kilograms. So that's the range that we're developing with different purposes that I will talk about on the next slide. And then we have rockets. So there's a student group that develops sounding rockets. And then there are also courses. We have two programs, the Master of Space Engineering and the Aerospace Engineering program, which is held in German though. And we also have some courses in our international program that are joined with programs where German students participate, just to create a mix. And we can offer a variety of different types of curricular projects. But this is not the only way to participate in hands-on activities. We have curricular projects in several courses. Let's say we offer space electronics, and the best way to give students the insights of how electronics work are just to give them electronics and let them try out things. And so we hand out hardware, so you can work with this hardware and learn with that. So this is about our philosophy. So Olga, if you could maybe, thank you very much. Let me just clear everything. So we have different research areas. So everything is under space technology, basically. So we were technology oriented. Chair of Space Technology is focused on engineering. And what's one of the drivers is the miniaturization of small satellites. So TU Berlin was one of the first universities that started developing a CubeSat. That was in the years roughly 2000, when the first development started regarding CubeSats. So all the different subsystems like attitude control, communication, etc. We had to miniaturize those technologies. The conventional satellites can be quite large, as you know. It can have the size of a bus or the size of a car. Now we can hold every satellite in our hands. And we had to make those components robust. So many of our CubeSats, they survive for many years in space. And we wanted to make them more affordable, meaning we use commercial off-the-shelf equipment that we test extensively. And we developed that heritage basically over the years. And this started even earlier with Professor Renner's satellites. And I'm sure Professor Renner is very popular over there at LAPAN. You had many joint projects, and he started developing smaller satellites. And then with our Professor Breeze, who joined the Chair of Space Technology, later he started developing CubeSats, so those 1 kg satellites. And the first objectives were technology demonstration and education. So in the first place, to show that we can, for example, build those small satellites and do attitude control, 3-axis attitude control in space. And nowadays we have several buses, 1 kg, 20 kg, 10 kg, and we have our satellites have different purposes. For example, we have a satellite turbine that observes the Earth. So we do Earth observation and detects forest fires. So we can do early detection with for forest fires with just a 20 kg satellite and test those commercial off-the-shelf payloads for detecting those fires. We have a fleet of satellites that is called SNET. So the satellite fleet with 4 satellites tries different protocols for improving communication between satellites in space. So inter-satellite linking, is one important factor when you think about the constellations that are built right now or in the future. So there are many companies, as you know, SpaceX with the Starlink constellation, or the company Planet that also has its operations in Berlin, that wants to take a picture of the Earth once a day, like a complete picture of the Earth from space every single day, so that you have an archive of the whole Earth over the years, and you can use that for civil engineering, for agricultural engineering, smart farming, etc. And this is what we basically participate in the research, by improving those communication technologies in space, by making data, sending data more efficient between satellites. And we also have missions for the responsibility of using space, meaning making space more sustainable. For example, we have the CellSat mission, which maps the spectrum of communication in space. As you can imagine, with many more satellites in space, nowadays we have roughly close to 3,000 operational satellites in space. In just a few years, those will be several 10,000s probably. So that's the prediction. And all those satellites use, they transmit data, and they crowd the environment with wireless radio signals. So, and the satellite, for example, maps that environment so that we can coordinate the frequencies better between operators. So that's one of the goals. So as you can see, there are many things that the satellites do. So we are active in miniaturization, in building small satellites, in building rovers, autonomous rovers, sounding rockets, in building ground stations. So we have complete ground stations with on the frequencies S-band, UHF, VHF, and then we have also several other projects, as I said, in the area of distributed space systems, like satellite constellations. We also have some projects related to making use of that data in collaboration with different countries. So how can we use Earth observation data? And then there are also several other project groups at the Chair of Space Technology, which deal, for example, with additive layer manufacturing. So how can we produce space parts, for example, in space? Or how can we use resources on the Moon or on Mars to build space systems from those resources that we find on the planets? We have groups that deal with like small propulsion system. We have several groups that deal with all the different topics. So the key message basically here is that whatever type of research you want to do in the area of space technology, we have about like 50 researchers at the department that are focused on space, and those researchers can support you. So for us, it's possible to find a suitable supervisor, no matter what topic you want to work on, if it has anything to do with space technology. So Olga, if you could maybe go to my last slide. Thank you very much. So what's the procedure for selecting your research topic? So as we understand, you write your thesis or you do your research within LAPAN. So on a project, just as an example, for example, let's say you want to work on the attitude control for an upcoming satellite mission at LAPAN. We had students before from LAPAN, and they just did that. So they worked, for example, on the communication system on a LAPAN satellite in their thesis, and then you discuss this topic within LAPAN in collaboration with BRIN, and then you propose this research topic to the MEC office. So this is the Master of Space Engineering office. This is my colleague Olga Olmakova. This is me, and then you can forward this topic to us. You can provide a short description of the topic with just one page, so that we get an idea if this is feasible, if we can find a suitable supervisor, if this can be conducted, if it's maybe too much or not enough. So we provide feedback on that topic. And then in the first 3 semesters, normally we don't require our students to do research in the first three semesters. Firstly, our students, our master students, they participate in the curriculum. Maybe they do an internship, get a student job on the side, participate in some extracurricular activities. But we don't have that requirement that they have to do research in the first 3 semesters. However, as we understand, the students that will join us from BRIN, that you basically will have to start your research in the very beginning. So you need a topic, an area of interest, and then you need to start with, for example, literature research or refining the topic in more detail over the 3 semesters, or specialize yourself academically, meaning take the right courses so that you can work better on that topic over time. So what we offer in the first semesters is basically guidance on demand. So you can always come to us. You can talk about what your needs are, and get guidance from us, from the researchers, and from our team. So, and then in the 4th semester, this doesn't have to be the 4th semester, it depends on how long you study, but normally it is the 4th semester that our students reserve for writing the thesis. This is basically the official part. You register your thesis, and then you have 6 months officially to write that thesis. And this is when we finalize the thesis title. That is, before you gave us an area of interest, let's say attitude control in general. But when you register your thesis, we need a real title, a final title that you work on. And then we define the official supervisor, basically the supervisors that grade your thesis. This is always the professor of the chair of space technology, which is Professor Enrico Stoll right now. And then we find another supervisor who's suited to supervise your topic in your area of interest. So yeah, that's it. Just a brief overview of the possibilities. Thank you very much.
Now we are happy to answer all your questions regarding the program.
Okay, thank you very much, Olga and Afsar. So I think now we're going to open discussion session today. If you have any questions, you can write it on the chat column on the Zoom. Or maybe if you want to ask directly to our speakers, you could raise your hand and we'll allow you to speak. Thank you. Okay, I think we will wait for the question. It's okay. Okay, maybe while we're waiting for the question, I just want to, I kind of interested of this. On the point 5, once you register your thesis at TU Berlin in the 4th semester, the MSE office will appoint a TU Berlin supervisor. So the supervisor will be appointing by MSE TU Berlin in the 4th semester. Am I right?
So the official supervisor who grades the thesis. So we have an MSc office with also space engineers in that office who coordinate the program, and we can give guidance in the first 3 semesters. But as soon as the thesis is registered, we need an official supervisor who is maybe more involved in the details of that specific area. Like, let's say attitude control is that specific area, then normally we tend to look for someone at the department who's an expert in that field, and over that 6 months period can provide even more detailed supervision. Yeah, so but we don't necessarily, we can try and do that in the first semester already. We can ask around in the department and unofficially assign supervisors. However, we cannot guarantee that after 2 years they will still be at the department to supervise the thesis, because as you know, university projects, you have fluctuations. Satellites are finished within 2 or 3 years, and then the staff may be exchanged. So we have an official supervisor for the thesis in a period of 6 months that we define when the thesis starts. Before that, we have lots of expertise at the department with people who can help you. I mean, the student will be exposed to lots of lecturers in different courses, and all of those lecturers are space engineers if it's a space related topic. So there's always a connection between the experts and the student, so they can always ask and get guidance from anyone here at the department.
Okay, thank you, appreciate it. So I can say that there will be an official supervisor and the official supervisor, because the research topic we know about the research that can change in the way, you know that what I mean. Okay, thank you, appreciate it. So right now we've got Pak Dadang Mulyadi who raised hand. Maybe the host can allow him to speak. Sorry, thank you. Sorry, host. Sorry, I would
Mr.
like
Dadang?
Mr. Dadang raise a hand. Can you allow him to mute the microphone?
I don't think him listening.
Okay, that's okay. Okay, I would like to tell you once again, if you have any question, you can put the question on the chat, and we will discuss it in this seminar and this webinar. Okay, maybe there's still no question from our participant. That's okay. Okay, I think Mr. Dadang is already here. So, Pak Dadang, can you hear me? Sorry. Oh, sorry. Okay. Maybe while we're waiting for the question and the chat, maybe we can, I just kind of interested that, as you mentioned before, there are many project groups in the curriculum of the MSc TU Berlin, right? If I'm not mistaken. So is it will be a barrier if our students cannot attend the class, because in the first semester and in the last semester, we merely attend the class in online way. You know what I mean? I think. How about that?
Yes, it is. It is possible. So in this, if they're not here, if they study from abroad and they participate in the project, they can just select work packages in the project. In the projects they can conduct from abroad. So they don't necessarily have to be in Berlin to participate in the projects. So of course, it's so if they're here, what we discussed before, so they would come to Berlin in the second and third semester. So there aren't so many projects in the first semester, and fourth semester they will just conduct their research from Indonesia under supervision of TU Berlin. And the supervisor in Indonesia. So they can also participate in the projects from abroad.
Okay, so it's still possible to attend the class from abroad. Okay, thank you, appreciate it. So thank you. So we already got a question from Pak Azizul Hanif. The question is, good afternoon, my name is Zul from Rocket Technology Center. I want to ask about the mechanism discussing the potential research topic. Who will be in charge? Thank you. Okay, so maybe Olga or Afsar could answer
So, okay,
this.
let's say, yeah, of course, good question. So let's say you want to write your thesis on something related to mechanism. So we know that area, but maybe you haven't defined the topic in detail yet. So what we will do is, so we have people at the department who work with mechanisms. So they work on mechanisms and satellite systems. So what we will do is we will reach out to those people and then describe the situation so that you are interested in writing your thesis on that topic or do your research on that topic, and then we will connect you with them. And if you have questions related to your topic in the beginning, normally students have questions, general questions, because they're still in the literature research phase. They try to define their topic in more detail. So normally the MSc office, like we buffer those questions, and we work with you then basically. So for example, you can approach me and as one of the program coordinators, and then we can discuss your topic in the first stage. As soon as your topic gets more technical and you need more expertise regarding certain questions, we will connect you with someone who can help you in that area, and then you can ask your questions to that person. And then once you officially register your thesis in the 4th semester, we will assign a person from the department who's more familiar with mechanisms, and then you have an official supervisor. However, supervision is not good. Like there are different types of supervisors. So maybe briefly explain that. So we have official people at TU Berlin who grade your thesis. So the first supervisor is the professor. So he's the head of the chair of space technology. He will, in the end, he will read your thesis. He will grade your thesis according to certain academic standards. But he won't be working with you on a day-to-day basis. So he's not going to work with all the students every day. So finally, he evaluates your thesis once you submit it. Then you have the second supervisor, who's also official, from TU Berlin. So this person, you will talk to that person maybe once a week or every 2 weeks and update this person about your status. You can ask questions and you can receive guidance from that person. And then there are the external supervisors. And those external supervisors, from our perspective, external, from TU Berlin's perspective, or for example, from BRIN or from LAPAN, those people whose project you work in. Like you have, let's say, a satellite mission at LAPAN, and you have 1 or 2 people who you work on a daily basis together to build a system. Then those are your supervisors there for the daily questions regarding the specifics of a certain project. So as you can see, you have that portfolio of supervisors, and then we have the MSc office with people who are not directly involved in your research. For example, me. But I have seen hundreds of theses and have guided students through hundreds of theses, and you can ask me questions about the structure and the academic standards, and I can ask you and answer your questions about that.
Okay, thank you, Afsar. Appreciate it. So
there is a question.
Okay.
There is a question on the chat. I don't know.
Yeah.
Should I read it? So the question is. Could I take master degree in space engineering if I'm a chemical engineer?
Yeah.
Yes, we have students with different backgrounds. So we also had students who studied physics or mathematics in their bachelor's. Of course, it makes it easier if you do have experience, a little bit of experience in engineering, and experience in space engineering is appreciated, but we've got students with different background. And the program is created in a way that during the first semester, we provide students with basics in space engineering and put them all on the same level, but it is possible. The second one, if possible, what research topic can I choose? There is already a question regarding. Basically, I think so. You can, because you start from the beginning, you can choose any research topic. But there is a recommendation from BRIN to take to do research in propulsion if you studied chemical engineering. German maybe.
Yeah, so exactly. The propulsion is already great. So chemical engineering, first thing that comes to mind is, of course, propellants. So you have different types of liquid propellants, or solid propellants, and chemistry is of course found in that area of research. So, for example, the German Aerospace Center, DLR, this is where some students wrote their thesis who had more of an interest in the propulsion area, and worked on propellants. So it also depends on if you can work on such a topic then in LAPAN, because this is the main place where you write your thesis. But it can be supervised from our side, from TU Berlin side. But of course, I mean, if you study for 3 semesters, so for 3 semesters you have courses, maybe in the same at the same time I can answer the next question in combination with this question, because someone is asking, I have a question, how many semesters will we get courses and also full research? Can we get online courses, or how can we do the course also for the research? So in the first 3 semesters, you basically have courses full time. So all sorts of topics in engineering. And many of our students develop their area of interest in those 3 semesters. So if you're a mechanical engineer and you don't have that space engineering background, you may not be sure what you want to do as a space engineer. So you need time to discover that interest in the beginning. So for a chemical engineer, you may still decide to do something with electronics or with structures, even if you're a chemical engineer. So we even had students who wrote their students in space medicine. So they did biological experiments in their thesis, although they were mechanical engineers. So you never know. So you can still decide in the course of your studies. So, and then the research, the research happens in the 4th semester regularly. If you finish all your courses in the first 3 semesters, you do your research in the 4th semester. So, and as we understood from our last meeting, you can basically focus on your education, so on the masters, and do all the courses in the first 3 semesters. You can do them online or on campus. So in the first semester, you'll start online, meaning all our courses are offered online too. So we have live sessions with the lecturers. We have also video lectures. We have we record the live sessions in case you miss a class, for most cases at least. And then we also have digital quizzes online so that you can do in the browser and submit your assignments online, etc. So everything is digitized. And then you'll be here for 1 semester at least, or for 2 semesters. The 2nd and 3rd semester, it's still to be decided which if it's going to be both or one. We're still in discussions. And then you'll be here. So it's more or less a hybrid program. So you can join online, join on campus.
Next question is regarding PhD. So whether it's possible to continue with PhD after graduation. The program entitles you to do a PhD in any country after you've graduated Master of Space Engineering. But I don't know whether you're aware of the PhD system in Germany. Or not, so maybe I should mention it. So it is a little bit different to other countries. There is no such PhD study in Germany. Basically, PhD students work in research projects at either the university or at a research institution or at the industry, but then under supervision of a professor. So they don't study, then they basically need to apply for a position in a research project and then conduct their research and write their thesis themselves. So it's quite complicated to find a position. This is the problem. But as I mentioned, so it does entitle you to continue with PhD. And we have students, our graduates, who are now conducting PhD at TU or at research organizations, at other research organizations in Germany.
Okay, thank you, Olga and Afsar. Maybe I would like to give a remark or comment about this question from Pak Zulfikar about the online class. I think as far as I know, and we discussed it better at on our last meeting, we have agreed that for the first semester, our students can do the online class in Indonesia. And for the second and third semester, our students can go to Germany to do their coursework or doing some project for at least 4 to 5 months. And the last semester, they can do the research and the thesis research, I can say that, in Indonesia, if I'm not mistaken. But maybe, is there any comment or remark from the Degree Research team? Or Pak Arthur maybe, because it's regarding our agreement, right? And it's still on discuss.
Yeah,
But, yeah,
I would like
thank
to give a
you.
comment, Jeremy, regarding these issues. Yes, our BRIN here will support this kind of scheme. So the first semester, according to the TU Berlin, is possible to do it, all of them conducted online. Yeah, on the first semester. And for the second and the third semester, TU Berlin are suggesting that the student will be stationed in Germany, yeah, during their coursework. Let's say from each semester, they'll be staying up to 4 to 5 months. Therefore, that the need support, yes, some of them will be put in addition with the tuition fee together with others, like said the what Olga mentions, their organization fee, something like that, and then we can calculate it, all the budget needed for each student. So basically, BRIN will support the student while they have to be in Berlin, especially their ticketing, also vice versa, each semester, and also some of their living allowance, for example, needed to cover them, especially let's say for housing and so on. So we are hoping actually here, Pak Heru also here, we're hoping, let's say we can secure, we have 5 or more than 5 students are eligible, they pass the examination, they pass the requirement and enroll as a student in TU Berlin. For example, they can come together, 4 or 5 of them together at the same time. Then maybe renting the same house will be much easier that way. So we are hoping that much more candidate, it could pass the exam actually. My question is to TU Berlin is about the language proficiency test here, because that is one also as the requirement. Is there any level of passing grade for the TOEFL or IELTS to be enrolled as the student in TU Berlin?
Yes, there is a TOEFL. The required is 80 for the internet-based test, or 550 for paper-based test, and IELTS 6 Benscope. But it's we don't, as I said before, they don't necessarily have to have these certificates. It's like orientation basis. So they do have to have good English English knowledge. But so if they studied in English, if they conducted research in English, if they do have other certificates, they can apply with these certificates or with this proof of proficiency. But this is like an orientation point of which level they supposed to have.
So I have to reconfirm, Olga. When they enter the admission requirement, online admission, they do not have to have a TOEFL certificate mentioning that I have 550 scoring pass, or just what kind of?
they have to have something which proves that they have. This is like an orientation. They don't necessarily. We know that sometimes TOEFL now would take a while. They won't be able to do it tomorrow. So, and we do make exceptions with language proficiency certificates. In general, students submit these certificates. But if they have some other certificates, or they can prove the English proficiency level on a different way, it's also acceptable. So they don't necessarily have to have a TOEFL or IELTS certificates.
Okay. One more question from my side regarding the student visa. Since the first semester they'll be conducting all their work and course in Indonesia, do they have to gain the student visa at the first semester, or only when they have to be in Germany for the second and the third semester?
They don't have to. So I would, if they want to come to Germany in 6 months for the second semester, I would recommend them to start the visa application procedure. So basically right now, because now it takes very long to get a visa. Okay, it's probably, I would say, sometimes up to 2-3 months. So they don't need to have a visa to study from abroad, that they need to start preparation for coming to Germany in advance.
Okay, thank you very much. So I would like to emphasize more for the candidates. BRIN will support, for example, like I mentioned, their part of the living allowance needed to support the student while they have to be in Germany. And we will put it in the sum of the together with the tuition fee, and will be registered together at the early beginning. So when you're in Germany, the MSE office will then manage your fund to support part of the living allowance, right, Olga? Something like that, right?
We will clarify it, so the legal side of it in the next days, and we'll come back to you on it. So we think that it's possible to do this way, but we need to clarify how it works legally.
Yes, and what the student have to do is they have to register and pass, right? In this admission.
Yeah, now, so I would, if your candidates want to apply and start this year, I would recommend them to apply for the program as soon as possible, because we need then to evaluate the candidates, and also to so we also conduct the interviews. We speak with candidates which completed the first round, which are selected for the interviews, and it would take some time. So it would be great if they apply as soon as possible through the website, or maybe if they prefer, they can also send us the documents per email.
Thank you, Olga.
As you've got the website, there is all the information on the application procedure, on the application documents, also the application form. But of course, if you have any questions, please contact us.
Okay, thank you very much, Olga.
Olga, sorry, may I ask to Pak Arthur?
Of course.
Yes. Pak Arthur, bisa kalau misalnya kita buka in bahasa gitu, mungkin ada teman-temannya because it's first time, so mungkin kalau boleh, kalau ada yang mau menggunakan bahasa, mungkin kita bisa bantu. Gimana, Pak?
Okay, go ahead. Any question in bahasa? It's open, but just don't ask me in Germany. I cannot speak Germany yet. I cannot speak German yet.
Sorry,
okay,
Mr. Jem, Olga,
Yes.
Olga,
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that is it need that our students have to pass the German proficiency language test? Because isn't that?
No, not German. Not German.
No German.
We don't require any language. Everything is in English.
Anything in
So,
English.
so the requirements are previous degree, so bachelor's at least, English, and 1 year work experience. Those are three. And of course, engineering is preferred, and also experience in space technology, space engineering is from advantage.
Okay, got it. So only English proficiency test, right? TOEFL, IELTS, or okay. Thank you.
Also, as I said, so it doesn't. We understand TOEFL, or you wouldn't be able to do it right now. So we accept other proofs of English proficiency. They don't have to do these tests.
Thank you, Olga. Appreciate it. So we have already another questions from Pak Robertus Heru Triharyanto. So he is the head of a research organization of aeronautics and space in BRIN. Pak Robertus, thank you, Pak. The question is, it was mentioned before that possibility of internship for the students in space industry or institutions. This will be done before the thesis semester, right?
No. Yeah, Olga, go ahead.
So, no, it's not, internship is not mandatory part of the program. We recommend students to do an internship, and most of our students do an internship, or they, it's basically it's more work, so as work students at the industry in Berlin. But it's not mandatory part of the program. We don't provide students with position for internships. They apply for it themselves. But it's a huge offer in Berlin, on Germany. So our students find jobs during their studies very easily, and most of them they work as work students.
Yeah, but then you should keep in mind definitely that that this takes a lot of time. So students work 10 or 20 hours a week. So of course it makes it a lot more difficult to keep up with the studies on the side. So many students that work maybe study a semester longer, so they get that experience, they earn a little bit of money in the companies, but then they extend their studies for a semester or two, which is worth in the end, looking at that experience. So you're the students, basically they have to decide if this is even an option for them, or if they just want to focus on the studies because they already have that experience in LAPAN. Maybe it's not necessary to have a student job on the side.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Olga. Appreciate it. Okay, so it's all about the workload, I think. Yeah. So maybe we will prefer that the students just focus on their study, right?
Yeah, of course. It's your students. It's a special case. Yeah. Of course, they also have probably more experience. They are more focused on the degree, and as they've got already a master's thesis.
Okay, thank you.
Topic, so.
Maybe I have another question regarding the question before, that the bachelor degree the bachelor degree doesn't affect that if the people want to apply for this program, right? If the bachelor degree not related to the MSc, right? But how about the work experience?
We of course we evaluate those are the official requirements to get on the program. So you can't apply. So you're not eligible to apply for the program if you don't have these criteria. But of course we evaluate the application. So we go through the application, we go through the application documents, and of course, people with more experience have in engineering and space engineering, they have better chances to get on the program. But so to be eligible to apply for the program, you can have any degree, any bachelor's degree.
So the work experience is still affect the enrolling, you know what I mean, the applying system.
Sorry.
Oh, but the work experience, is it do the students have to got the related work experience in space engineering or something?
Not not to be eligible. They can have they can have work experience in any field. Work experience in space engineering is just an advantage to get just an advantage to get better chances to get on the program. We've got students from different backgrounds. We don't have many students with experience in space technology. As Jem mentioned before, we've got many students with bachelor's in mechanical engineering, so like it's a big percentage. Electronics. We had already students with bachelor's in physics, mathematics. Of course, it's better if it is close related to the field, which just makes people easier to study.
Thank you, Olga. Got it. Appreciate it. Maybe if you have any question for the participant, you can put the question on the chat. Or if you want to speak directly to our speakers, you can raise your hand. Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
Can I ask one question also to Olga regarding this program? Maybe it's related with the question in Bahasa from Mr. Azizul Hanif here, which is mentioning about this program, the MSE on Master of Space Engineering. When, for example, you said it will be started from the April until the 2 years from there. When will be the next batch for this program? Will be this kind of program twice a year or once a year for this program? Or, for example, I was hoping that, let's say, if they do need some preparation, they do need some time to prepare all the requirements, or do they have any, let's say, another month or next semester, or any information about that?
We start once a year. Always in April, so this year it's 19th of April with introductory event. But I wouldn't worry about preparation, because if they don't move to Germany, so they don't have much of preparation. Of course, normally they've got to be enrolled and so submit all the documents before they get access to the platforms at the university. But we've got temporary solutions for it. So it would be okay if they join online lectures at the beginning, even if it's not so everything is clarified yet.
So for example, let's say if we can secure a first batch, first cohorts here for 5 students, for example, this year, this program will be open again the next April 2023,
yes,
correct?
Yes,
Like that.
yes.
Oh, I see. Thank you. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Bartu.
I think that's enough.
Yeah. So we also have to go to our next meeting in 5 minutes. So if
okay.
final questions or
I think if there's no a question anymore, we can finish our webinars today.
And you've got our contact details. Please feel free to ask any questions. I mean, I'm addressing now also the candidates. So if you're interested to know more about the subjects or program or how it works, please address us directly.
Okay, sorry. Maybe this is going to be the last question today from Pak Maulana. Is it okay?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Pak
Yeah, yes.
Maulana, if I have a postgraduate diploma or certificate from another program, is it possible to consider it as first and second semester credit?
So you can get credits for courses that you did previously, yes. So basically you can look at our curriculum. If any of the courses that you took roughly match with what's in our curriculum, then you can get the credits for it. So we check if they're equivalent. Like let's say you already had a course on space mission planning somehow, and we have space mission planning in our curriculum, then you can get the credits and you don't have to repeat that course. But for that,
from bachelor's.
but not from bachelor's. So this is what is it? Postgraduate diploma. So it depends on the program. So not from a bachelor's, but if you did a master's, then that is possible. So if you did project management in your master's, then you can get the credits from for six credits, and you don't have to do them in MEC.
Okay, thank you, Jem and Olga. Maybe that's the end of our discussion today. Right, thank you. I do hope all the questions have been answered clearly by our speakers. And yeah, so I would like to say thank you for all the participation and the enthusiasm, appreciate it. And I'd like to thank you also to Pak Edi Giri Rahman Putra as our acting deputy chairman for Human Resources of Science and Technology, and also to Pak Arthur as our acting director of telemanagement. And I would like to thank you to Pak Robertus Heru Triharyanto as our head of research organization of aeronautics and space of BRIN. We hope that we can send our students to pursue their master degree in MSc TU Berlin. And also thank you to all participants from Research Center and Research Group of Aeronautics and Space of BRIN, and to all the participants that attending our webinars today. If you have any question and maybe one more information about MSc TU Berlin, you can visit their website, right, on msc.tu-berlin.de. And if you have any question, you can ask them through the email directly, or maybe, sorry, Mr. Afsar or Olga, maybe you can share the email for the participant.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
You can find the email in the chat box.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm writing nice. Well, just a second.
If you want to get more information about the different research projects and topics at the department, or want to see some impressions in videos, I'm just putting in a few links to that too. So you can see the research projects, you can see the department in videos to get a better feeling of how things look like.
Thank you very much, Jem and Olga. And I would like, of course, thank you to the speakers today, Olga Homakova and Mr. Jem Afsar. Dankeschön, Ms. Ena and Mr. Afsar, for the informative,
Thank you for your invitation.
information.
Thank you very much for
engineering.
Thank you very much.
We hope we can maintain our good relationship and cooperation from today. And yeah, I think that's for today. I'd like to apologize if there are any mistakes in my words and my deeds and during this webinar. And I'm Jeremy. See you on the next Open Campus webinar. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And
Thank you very much. Thank
Very
you.
much.
I'm looking
Thank
forward
you.
to
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
Waiting for the Olga.
Okay.
Waiting for your input on the MOU draft.
Yes, yes.
still-
Anita says send me the document on Friday. I will review it the next days. And
Thank
yeah.
you. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Bye.
So
Bye-bye.
Pak Heru, punten.
Ya, Bu.
Ya,
Mbak
bagaimana kira-kira ada kandidat siang ini Pak yang bisa secepatnya kami?
Tadi di mention ada 5 kandidat, itu dari mana ya?
Satelit.
Oh, dari Pusteksa.
Cuman nggak semua sih.
Oh, oke. Kalau dari Pusat Teknologi Roket sudah ada kirim kandidat belum?
Belum.
Oke, saya coba.
Dan penerbangan juga Pak, iya.
Ya, saya coba kontak ke.
Baik.
Kalau ngelihat kurikulumnya kan lebih ke Pusat Teknologi Roket ya, atau bahkan mungkin penginderaan jauh ya.
Iya, satelit dan penginderaan jauh, iya.
Nah, saya coba kontak mereka ya supaya malam ini ada data gitu ya.
Baik.
Ya. Terima kasih Pak Edi Giri.
Terima kasih Pak Giri, Pak
Terima kasih, Pak
Heru.
Terima kasih, Pak Heru.
Ya, Mbak Tira, makasih ya. Mas
Mbak
Adi.
Putri, Mas Jerry, Mbak Anita. Terima
Ya.
kasih semua Bapak Ibu peserta.
Ya.
Terima kasih.